to 6.55 Special, and we're really flying high this evening. The pilot of this particular helicopter is Mike Oldfield, and he tells me he has got a pilot's license. So are we on course, Mike?
Yep, we're just coming into Pebble Mill now. I can see the football field. They put a little cross there.
I think we didn't really have to go to these lengths just to introduce your record of 5 miles out. I must say I did enjoy my little helicopter ride this morning, and I promise not to tell anyone that the first time we did it, you landed in the wrong field.
Oh, well, actually, I landed in the Oldfield. If if you pardon me.
Terrible joke. You've been dying to get that one in all day. Mike, 5 Miles Out was based on an incident that actually happened to you, wasn't it?
Yes, when we were on a tour of Spain, my group and I were flying from Barcelona to San Sebastian, and we flew over the Pyrenees, and we'd got a misleading weather forecast. We were actually flying into a really big area of thunderstorms, and the type of plane we were in was not equipped to handle those conditions. For a start, it didn't have any de-icing equipment, which means that if the plane starts to ice up, collect ice, you usually spray alcohol or puff the wings up so that it breaks the ice. Didn't have any of that. It also didn't have any oxygen, so it meant that we couldn't fly over the top of the storm. So we were actually stuck in this storm, and of course we started icing up. At one point, I remember the pilot, very well, he was called Clive, not Clive. He had the throttles completely closed and we were going up still, like that. So it lasted for about an hour. Everybody was praying, and we really thought we were going to die. It was, you know, fantastic experience to actually come out of that storm into the sun, and that's what the cover represents, us coming out of the storm.
What an amazing experience there, as you say, which you put on record then. But just to sort of change the tone completely, last year you became the first rock musician to be given the freedom of the City of London, didn't you?
Right, yeah.
Why did they pick you?
Well, they wanted to do a celebration for the royal wedding. It's part of a festival of the City of London, and it was in the Guildhall Square, and I did a concert there with my band, a live concert, free concert. And I believe as a result of that, plus work that I've done for charity and for the money that I bring into the City of London, they gave me the freedom.
What does it mean, getting I mean, it's something you keep reading about, someone's been given the freedom of the city. What does it actually mean?
Well, it has certain advantages in that you can, which date back to the Middle Ages, which you can drive your sheep across London Bridge. But the only thing I've discovered is that the Americans have moved London Bridge to somewhere in the desert.
To Arizona, I think.
I have to take my sheep over there in order to drive them across it.
Also, if you were ever to be hanged, you could be hanged by a silken thread, couldn't you, as opposed to a rope? Yes. All these wonderful things. Mike, 10 years ago you started recording Tubular Bells.
Yes,
so it's a sort
of
anniversary.
almost to the day, in fact. It's incredible. Yeah.
And I gather you're actually thinking of redoing it.
Well, I don't know whether it's ever been done before, whether they've ever remade an album, but every time I listen to it, I think, oh, that doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound quite as good. And of course, studio technology has improved to such an extent now that if I was to do it now, I'd get a much better sound. So I've got 4 weeks from now until we start the big European tour in which to do something. Just finished a single, which we're later going to play. Yeah. But I've got 4 weeks, and that's not enough time to do an album, but I think I could do a remake of Tubular Bells.
Well,
I've got my own studio, so I do it all on my own, and I know it backwards. Upside down, inside out.
I think the whole world must, yeah. I mean, it's already sold 12 million copies. Do you think you might sell another 12 million?
Who knows? But,
it was, of course, picked up and used for the film The Exorcist. It wasn't written for that film, it was picked up by them. Have you been asked to write film music since that?
No, I've got a bone to pick with the film industry in that I'd love to write a film music score. Yeah. And in fact, I'm sure I'd be very good at it, but an offer hasn't, in fact, come along.
It's very strange, that, seeing as it was so successful with that movie. I think a lot of people would think, you know, Mike Oldfield, millionaire at 19, doesn't need to make money anymore. Is that true?
No, it's not true, very far from true. The thing is that I run a business now called Oldfield Music Limited, which we do tours, we make albums, we do lots of things. So the costs of running the whole business, you know, sometimes, especially touring, outweigh the money that you get in. For example, in 1979, when I took the 52-piece orchestra on the road, you know, we lost a fortune. We lost a lot of money, but. All in all, it's paying its way, but it's like a small business, like any other small business. You've
got to keep going. I know you've, since the beginning of the year, been making a concerted effort on the singles charts, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yes, it's like a challenge to do something very strong in 3 minutes. Usually I take a whole 25, half a side of an album to make my statement, but to do it in 3 minutes is a big challenge. It's a discipline, really, and I plan to carry on doing that. At the same time, it's not representative of what I'm doing at the moment. What I'm doing at the moment is my albums, not singles.
So you've got sort of 2 careers going, really, in effect.
So the singles are going to come out of the name, I think, of the Mike Oldfield group to separate them from my personal musical development.
Now, this particular single, which we're going to hear now from the Mike Oldfield group, the whole thing only came about last Monday, didn't it?
That's right.
We really have got this hot off the press.
We're going to make a single, and we actually finished it last night. you know, mixed it and everything. And we found out it's one of the few things that I do that can be played live, you know, and sound good without millions of overdubs. So,
Can we hear it?
Sure. Okay.
Thanks very much,
All
Mike.
right.
Here they are, the Mike Oldfield Group with Mistake.
It was a mistake under the weather. One shot's gonna turn into another. It's a heartbreak under the weather. Standing out in the cold highway is frightening. Rain hammering on your window. I hate cheap lightning. You reach for the telephone. Mistake under the weather. One shot's gonna turn into another. It's a heartbreak under the weather. Standing out in the cold. Heartbreak for blue skies. Rain hammering on your window. On your way. You wonder why you're standing on your own. Mistake under the weather. One shot's gonna turn into another. It's a heartbreak under the weather. Standing out in the cold. And talking on the radio. You never know how to say anything sublime that could be on your mind. Just to vanish in a tragical way. Get lost in dreaming. Rain hammering on your window. Try to catch the meaning. You're dancing on your own. Mistake under the weather. One shot's gonna turn into another. It's a heartbreak under the weather. Standing out in the cold. And talking on the radio. You never know how to say anything sublime that could be on your mind. Just to vanish in a tragical way. It was a mistake under the weather. One shot's gonna turn into another. It's a heartbreak under the weather. Standing out in the cold. It was a mistake under the weather. One shot's gonna turn into another. It's a heartbreak under the weather. Standing out in the cold. It was a mistake under the weather. One shot's gonna turn into another. It's a heartbreak under the weather. Standing out in the cold. It was a mistake.
Fresh out of the recording studio there, the Mike Oldfield Group and Mistake.